Welcome, Crusaders, and thanks for joining me for Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. We're going to grab Dayren and head to Heaven's Edge. Let's do this. We'll leave Sozil here since we've got plenty of healing, I think, with Dayren, but pick up Woljif. We need to go with Dayren to Heaven's Edge to celebrate his birthday. At least that was the pretense for our invitation there. We have Inquisitor Hawkblade, who wants to follow us there to do some investigating. So we're going to head that direction. We'll have to see. We've got some things here along the way, so we'll see what we run into as we head to that direction. This is kind of like a tunnel or something here we have to figure out first. So let's head that way. Okay, we're at Leper's Smile. We had a encounter on the way, and we had some Babao we had to fight, and we picked up a note with a map to a campsite, which is right here. So we'll see if we can visit that later. So, day 3, month Lamachan, year 4715. Danger and distress rest heavy upon the scales, their measure soaring on the perilous march to Dresden. The army moves steadily along the bank of the West Sullen, scarred with canyons and ravines. Suddenly, a group of scouts returns. Anivia, the leader of the group, makes 2 urgent signs to the soldiers: wait and quiet. She dashes through the ranks to the commander, who awaits her report. We're in trouble, she whispers. The road ahead is split by a canyon. To get to Dresden, we'll have to go down and then up the other side, but the canyon is swarming with foul creatures. Vescivores. A real pain in the neck. They won't shy away from our soldiers' weapons, and they've already managed to gobble someone up. Looked like a caravan of refugees from Canabris that lost its way. No one has ever reported Vescivores so far from the center of the world wound. Where did they come from? Anivia bites her lip. They still haven't noticed us, but that won't hold true for long. Maybe if we retreat quietly. The commander makes a sign for her to stop. Find out what else is known about the enemy. Those nasty little critters, they can ruin your gear and drive you nuts with their buzzing, Anivia says in a rush. They got a queen, the mother of the whole swarm. She's a right horror, but if we kill her, the bulk of the swarm will scatter and we'll take care of the rest of them somehow. After hearing his scout's report, the commander prepares to convene a council to determine a plan of action. The commander and his companions convene a field council. The army cannot march around the obstacle, for there is no other road. Retreat is far too risky. Should the swarm notice the army and catch it out in the open, no one would survive. None utters the word trap, but fear hangs in the air. A swarm of omnivorous beasts just happens to be in the army's path. Someone has arranged for this, for their own nefarious ends. Rustling, grating, squeaking, humming. Everyone hears the voice of the swarm, though the sky before the army remains clear, for now. How long until it is darkened by the flying spawn of the abyss? An idea, a decision, straight and sharp like a soldier's sword, appears in their minds. The Crusader Council grows grim. One unit must act as live bait to lure the swarm out of the canyon and clear the path to the Vescivore Queen. The commander will rush the monster, killing her quickly before the swarm decimates the army. They will get but one chance. A dark question looms. Who will lead the fateful squad and be consumed as bait? Oh boy. In moments of extreme stress, one often says one thing while meaning quite another. These hidden words often reveal many a curious thing, and what do we see here? Irabeth nobly states, I am an officer best suited for the mission. But in truth, she means, I cannot burden another with my responsibility. Zeke, send me. Nura, the historian, emerges with an unexpected suggestion from behind the commander's back. This is just the sort of situation where ingenuity and knowledge of the enemy will be more useful than swords and armor. While she speaks, she thinks, I need to prove myself. The queen has yet to disclose her presence and watches quietly from a distance. The commander thinks that he should... Oh boy. Really? Are we sending one of them to their death? Look into the faces of your companions. I've eaten so many bugs in my life, it's only fair to give them a chance at revenge. The mongrel Lon hides his fears in plain sight. I'm a dead man walking already. A life such as mine is worthless. And silently he begs for more. Sacrifice me, or give me a chance to prove myself. The ones who distract the swarm will need a healer. Sociel is the only one who speaks plainly. A healer might bring a few through the Vescivores alive. The rest of the council remains silent, and this silence is filled by a chorus of, "There are others better suited, and the commander needs me alive." Does the commander hear these unspoken words? What will they lead him to decide? Faithful troop will be led by... Wow. Whew. If we are indeed sacrificing one of them, then it's not going to be Lon or Sociel. It feels like Nura was put here to be the bait. We don't know her that well. We're not attached to her yet. But wow, if she dies here and we miss out on her whole story, I just don't think we can choose either of these other three. Anivia would be pissed if we do this. Irabeth may be pissed if we don't send her, but yeah, okay. Nura. Commander and his party disappear among the rocks, preparing to slip down into the canyon, while the swarm is distracted by their bait. A tight-lipped Anivia shows the way. Behind them, the final preparations are being made. Here's what we'll do. Nura instructs the soldiers. We'll approach the precipice, stomping and banging our swords against our shields. We'll get the swarm's attention as quickly as possible. Passion burns in her eyes and her lips curve into a smile of satisfaction. The soldiers tread fearfully down the road toward the dark edge of the canyon ahead. The rift that yawns open before them whispers, rasps, rattles in thousands upon thousands of voices. Vescivores gather below, but the sky is open above them, and the flying creatures might rise up and attack at any moment. The soldiers soon find the first body, the mangled corpse of a refugee from Canabris. A few straggling Vescivores wriggle inside the dead man's gaping chest. Tiny larvae in greenish shells, all shuffling legs and hinging jaws. They don't seem menacing at all. But then, the rasping noise stops for a moment, and a high vibrating note pierces the air with new force. A blur of a blackish green cloud rises above the canyon. The swarm has taken the bait. The time to act has come. The leader of this fateful squad shouts that they shall fight to the bitter end. Nura smiles with brave cheer and orders her troops to hold their position at all costs. The time has come to pay with their lives. The swarm comes crashing down on their heads, consuming all of them. Nothing could protect these poor soldiers from the beasts but the strongest adamantine. The insects feast on the flesh of the commander's warriors. The rasping, mumbling, and buzzing of the swarm paralyze the soldiers' will. Poisonous mandibles cut through armor and bone. The swarm could scour an entire city from the face of Galarian. These modest forces present no obstacle. No matter what strategy the mortals choose, it is impossible to resist the eternal hunger of the abyss. Vescivores are its embodiment. No malevolent mind or terrible monster, but a million of half-sentient creatures who know no goal but destruction. An effective weapon for those prepared to trade fertile soil for wasteland. A chance yet remains for the commander to save his people. At least some portion. What will the leader decide? Wow. Okay. Man. I was hoping to get to know Nura a little better. I thought she seemed interesting, but that may have been the end. But I just couldn't see sending anybody else to their doom. Maybe that we would have had a more successful outcome with one of the others. Anivia's right here. Can imagine if we had sent Irabeth. Spots of light and shadow dance along the walls of the canyon. High above your head, a swarm gathers, dark as a rain cloud. There are so many Vescivores that they block out the sun. Luckily, you've escaped the attention of the swarm, which is focused upon the troops you're using as bait, for now at least. With a tired gesture, Anivia wipes the sweat and dust from her forehead. There's anxiety in her eyes. Commander, the beast we've come for is on the other end of the main corridor. There's a lot of burrows and plenty of beasts in them, but you better not delve too deep. Our people won't hold out long enough for us to clear the whole area. I just realized I wasn't paying attention. We have Darren with us instead of Social. I guess that's fine. The bad thing is Social has our delay poison communal. We don't have anybody else with that. If we're headed into a bunch of swarms, I could just see that being a thing. On the other hand, I saw the bodies of some poor caravanners down one of the side holes. They have some valuable stuff on them. The bugs will eat anything we don't grab. They can't tell the difference between flesh and steel. Yeah, we still have Darren. Oh well. Woljif, wait, so they're eating all the treasure while we're standing around talking? What are we hanging around for? Come on, there's no time to lose. Did you manage to find out where these beasts came from? I'm not sure, but there are clear signs of a ritual closer to the queen bug's lair, and they're fresh. Maybe somebody summoned the scum especially for us. The demon filth figured out that we were never going to let Canobras go. Too bad we don't have a magic specialist who could figure out what those runes mean. Can you tell me anything useful about the monster? I've never fought these before, so I don't know much. She's a nasty beast. She spits acid and summons her spawn from all around the area. One more thing, when I tried to get closer, I started feeling sick as a dog. I guess, like a lot of demons, she knows how to get inside your head. Lon, well, great. Huge, hungry, head-spinning, acid-spitting bugs. And I thought the Crusades were all about the pretty armor and the tasty rations, and sometimes saving beautiful maidens in white dresses from dumb demons. Alright, let's move. Good luck, I'm right behind you, covering your back. I'll catch up when it's time to deal with the queen. Yeah. Our other problem...
My tail is restless.
Yeah. We had that encounter on the way here, which means we're going into this without spell uses. I mean, I guess we could maybe camp right here, didn't we? I'm tempted to reload, though. I'd like to have our regular party. No offense to Darren.
Rules are made to be broken.
He does have the neutralized poison, but we don't have the delay. Yeah, we can't camp here. Jeez.
Doubt is the heart's
I will help
greatest
where I
challenge.
can.
I really watched that. I should have at least made camp before heading into that tunnel. I really don't want to reload, though. I guess we'll just see what happens. If I end up having to reload, I might go clear back before that story sequence so that we can rest and have our regular party with us. We'll see how this goes.
Leads on.
We've got gross bugs crawling around. Vescivore swarm. Wonderful.
Are we in trouble yet?
See what we know about these things. Resistant to fire and electricity. Immune to poison. Crits. I'm really worried about us not having our delay poison on. Just feels like a terrible way to be walking into something like this. I do have a couple of delay poison potions. I think I'm gonna have Darren drink one of those when he can, so we at least know that he's gonna be safe. He can use the neutralized poison then if he needs to. Everybody that gets close is getting confused. We're like gonna have to fight these things from range. Yeah, Saxon's just doing his own thing.
We shall overcome.
We're just gonna have to get off the horse, aren't we? See if Zeke can get in there on his own.
Do not hold back.
Okay. Well, we got one down. I have a feeling there's going to be like a lot of these things to deal with. I accidentally walked Lon up close. Vescivore Royal Guard. It's actually kind of cool looking. I suppose some protection from evil against these things might help. Yeah, now we got multiple swarms here to deal with. Along with this Royal Guard. Let's take a bite out of Saxon. Loves that horse meat.
You won't survive me.
Come on, Lon. Oh. Saxon and Aegis actually do pretty well against these things if they can not be confused. Alright, one swarm left. There we go. Yeah, Aegis just wrecks those. Okay, regroup here. Well, okay, somebody just came falling down the cliff up there. Got a lore nature check here. Demonic bug slime. Poisonous not only to everything alive, but also to the land itself.
Godspeed.
Nice. I'm still curious to find out what happened to Nura.
Let us press on.
Boy, the sounds here. Pretty creepy. The bottom of the canyon is split by a narrow crevice, about one stride across at its widest. It's easy enough to jump over, or in places even step across. The obstacle doesn't seem a problem or even particularly notable, but as you draw closer, you hear a terrible droning sound coming from the crevice. It seems to be howling, as if it's alive. Look into the crevice. You stare into the darkness of the void, trying to make out where the strange sound is coming from. Not all at once, but your eyes pick out the contours of a body in the darkness. Someone small, perhaps a gnome, a halfling, or a child. Rolled up in a ball at the bottom of the chasm under a stone ledge. He's crouched down, his head to his knees, and he's hugging his legs tightly. It appears to be one of the caravanners caught by the swarm. He's crying aloud, one continuous tone, and it strengthens as it echoes through the crevice, building into something truly haunting. Call out to the crying man. Answering your voice, the caravaner looks up. It's a young halfling. The light, coming from above, reveals a pale, wounded face. Vescivores still wriggle in the poor fellow's eye sockets. A moment later, the halfling drops his head again and continues to cry. He hasn't the strength to do more. Finian, we can't abandon him. He's still alive, and the living must be saved. If only I had a rope, I'd pull him out in no time. Yeah, we came out here without a rope, didn't we? Well, let's try to get the caravaner out. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone really with the athletics besides Saxon, and he apparently cannot attempt this maneuver. You clamber down into the crevice and tie the halfling with a rope, then try to pull him up. For a while, he doesn't resist, though he doesn't help either as he dangles helplessly like a puppet. But suddenly, in the middle of the ascent, one of the Vescivores in his eye sockets moves abruptly. The halfling screams and spasms and hits his head on the stone cliff face. He immediately grows still. You are now pulling up a dead body. Dang it. Alright, move on. After that failure. That's one thing I need to sort out, really, is our skills. We don't have those really, we don't really have our skills coordinated very well between our party. We need to know who's going to be here for those skill checks. All right, we've got the Vescivore Queen. Okay. This is it.
Who, me?
Let's get a haste going. And Lon.
Meditate on your mistakes. It might make you feel
Let's
better.
get shot off.
Make every strike count.
Right?
All right. You got a few good hits in there. So waiting to see what kind of minions she brings. Probably going to be a bunch of swarms. Let's be awesome if we could just like take her out before she could do anything to us. Let's charge in there. Good. Oh, Anevia's here to help. Seela, smite. We've got her down to about a third health. Voljiff, get in there.
For me.
Alright, Lon. Let's do some big damage here. He's only gonna get one shot, isn't he? I had to move to get him closer. Zeke, get in there. Anevia's gonna help out. I'm surprised she hasn't had any help here yet. Let's check her. She doesn't have any immunities. Hit her with the scorching ray. That did some damage. Aegis, finish it. Oh, he's confused. Seela?
No glory without risk.
Come on. Good. Alright. Unleashing her last shriek, the Swarm Queen slumps to the ground. Immediately, as if by magic, the distant sounds of battle begin to subside. Several small beasts sit on their mother's body, sinking their mandibles into it. The canyon drowns in the waves of scent, a sweet soporific with a hint of bite, like the crackle in the air before a storm. Seela, ugh, I can't breathe. I need some fresh air. Get me out of this disgusting hole. Agreed. Mind you, I've had cause to see holes a good deal more disgusting than this in my time. Dayrin laughed suggestively, but they were few and far between. Thanks for sharing that right now. Seela looks at Dayrin in confusion and a second later bursts into giggles. Have the fumes gone to your head, Count? Look at you, cracking jokes like the worst kind of bod. Lon looks askance at the queen's carcass. The mongrels in the caves under Canobris could eat that, I guess. Anevia approaches the swarm queen's body. Her face clearly expresses a desire to kick the dead beast, but she refrains. Just a brainless bug, and so many of our people died because of her. Just yesterday I was sitting by the fire with some of the people the swarm devoured. Suddenly, Anevia stops. Her nostrils flare and her eyes scan the floor and the walls of the canyon. She squats, pokes at some lumps of slimy substance, lifts some up to look more closely, smells them, and cringes. You smell it too, right? A suspiciously familiar stink. Aha, Anevia rubs a ball of greenish slime in her hand. I'd bet my life that your gear had this nasty stench when we were entering the canyon. I saw the queen bug spraying it around to summon her spawn to her. Let's see if we can find the source of that smell among my equipment. You and Anevia search through your things and quickly find the source of the smell. A thin handkerchief. Looks like it's been soaked in something like the Swarm Queen's slime. Perfumed handkerchief. I'll be damned. When the queen was spraying this sweet-smelling goop around, the swarm flew to it like flies to jam. The chewed-up bodies of the caravanners smelled like this too. I checked. Commander, I think some rat planted that handkerchief on you to ensure that the Vescivores would find you. Do we think it was demons, or doesn't feel like something a demon would directly do? I guess they could find a cultist or someone to do that for them. We may have enemies in Mendev. Someone has decided to get rid of me. True, nobody likes upstarts. If you knew what Irabeth's allies hissed behind her back when she was appointed head of the Eagle Watch, Anevia spits. Anyway, we need to keep our eyes open. That handkerchief could have been planted here by magic, but take it from a professional paranoiac. I think we've got a rat in our camp. In Canobris, we squashed the cultists time and time again, but they were like maggots in a dead hog. Some could have infiltrated our forces, too. We have to keep our eyes open and our guard up. It's time we got back to our people. I say we destroy the queen's body. I've heard the little bugs who eat the flesh of their mother can be reborn as swarm queens themselves. That's kind of the last thing we need, right? Oh. Jeez. We could use them against the demons. Oh. No. That'll be for another time, I guess. Fine, Anivia. Get rid of the beast's body. Great. Cleaning up after a fight is just what I like. We'll start here, and little by little, we'll clean up the entire world wound. Is that it? That's something that was going to be summoned through that ritual circle. She's good. Anivia, Commander, what a relief. You're alive. I saw the swarm begin to thin and ran to you immediately. She pauses to catch her breath. Luckily, our losses are not as great as we feared. Not many are even wounded, but if you'd been a moment later, I'm afraid to imagine what might have happened to us. Unfortunately, the insect's acid ruined what was left of the caravan. Of course, I sympathize with those who perished, but we could have used their gear. Well, Jeff, yeah, what a waste. We could really do with some supplies. If only they died on the road somewhere, or thirst, or after meeting some wild animals, we'd be sitting pretty right now. My duty is to lead my people to victory. I would not abandon my duty for the treasures of dead caravanners. What matters is that everything's over and we won. What are we going to do now? Anivia, since you're here, please take a look around. I found some painted runes and the traces of something that seemed like a ritual. We need to figure out what this is. Easily done. Nura leans over the magic symbols painted on the stone. I'm no mage, unfortunately, but I'm in the habit of thoroughly documenting all descriptions of rituals and symbols from magic books, especially demonic ones. Someone very recently opened a portal to the abyss here and summoned someone. It's not difficult to figure out who they summoned. She's lying dead right there. I can guess who carried out the ritual. Handwriting is unique even when it comes to runes. I examined the Great Garrison after your success, documenting everything I found for Queen Galfrey. And I'm sure that the hand that drew the rune circles was the same in both instances. It's the work of the same spellcaster. Is this Minago? Clever. To set a trap and exhaust us instead of fighting us openly. We shouldn't be afraid of demons. We lived through this little trap, didn't we? We'll overcome the next one too. We just need to keep forging ahead. Anivia, well, since we've finished off the swarm and we know someone is giving us trouble, I suggest we get out of here. I'm done with bugs. Okay. Dealt with the Vescivore swarm.
This'll leave a bruise.
Oh no. We dealt with that and now we're gonna get killed by our own bear. Great. He's still confused. Alright, everybody. Back here. We're gonna have to just... I don't know if we have anything. Okay, it's worn off. Alright. Jeez. That would have been perfect.
Path leads on.
Get through all that without barely a scratch. And then have it just kill Seela or something like that.
The waiting's never fun.
Alright, let's take one more look at this. A huge runic circle has been drawn on the rock, probably with blood. Yeah. Body over here. The new bow. Composite short bow. Enhanced weapon. Hunter's Assurance. +3 bleed composite short bow. When it confirms a critical hit, the enemy suffers a stacking -1 penalty to AC until the end of combat. Okay, to this point, we don't really have a short bow user. So this says down, but the exit's over there. Interesting, I guess. Wow. Gonna have to check. What is this? Wow, this leper's smile. This is a whole area. A whole bunch of Vescivores. I don't know if we want to do this right now. Maybe we'll come back here. Make a mental note. It looks like a large map. Sometimes they initially look larger than they actually are, but I don't think we want to go down there
Godspeed.
right now. One thing that I wished we would have had in Kingmaker and would be nice in this game too would be our own like custom the ability to put notes on the map here. Like I'd like to leave a note here that we would like to come back here to Leper's Smile. Just check out whatever's going on underground there. We didn't make it to Heaven's Edge. I think we will stop in camp to rest and recover, and then probably check out these two things. We still have demon armies to deal with up here too before we even get to Heaven's Edge. So that'll be next time. Dresden is actually fairly close, but we've got a lot of crusading here to do. Most of these are pretty low level, so hopefully we can manage through those. We'll see what these two little things are. I say little, I don't know, whatever they are, and then try to get to Heaven's Edge before pushing on to Dresden. Thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you again here with me next time. Bye-bye.